What's evolved over time in your relationship with streaming?
My community. They have definitely grown so much and they've become kind of like their own little ecosystem, and it's really sweet. And I feel like I'm watching this little world grow. I've seen people meet each other and start dating, break up. Some people have babies. They're getting married, and some of them become best friends, or some of them are moving in with each other. I think one of them said that she might be going to UK to live with another one. Like, they became friends. I have a general voice chat in my Discord, and almost every night I go in there, there's like 10 of them in there just hanging out. And it's almost like a mama bear and all her kids are home for Christmas, and you just see a full house and you just get so happy.
Welcome to the Becoming a Streamer podcast by Pipeline, where we interview your favorite streamers and learn about their journey to where they are today. I'm your host and co-founder of Pipeline, Snoopy. Today, we're joined by MissGinaDarling. When we talk about creators redefining themselves, Gina is a great example. From breathing fire to go-go dancing to modeling to YouTube to live streaming, she's tried it all and is currently a full-time streamer. In this episode, you'll hear about her career transitions and the move from Twitch to Facebook. Gina is extremely resilient and shows that it doesn't matter what cards you're dealt with, it's what you make of it. If you love the podcast, then please make sure you share it with a friend. Without further ado, let's dive in. Gina, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
When I was digging into a bit of your background, I was extremely fascinated in how much you've covered in your career so far. I think it's really unique as a creator to have touched different facets of the industry over time.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Before we dive into like your story and how you got to where you are, one of the things I'd love just to share with listeners is, where are you today? Where are you making content? What's your primary mode of content that you're creating?
Sure. I am a streamer on Facebook. You can find me at MissGinaDarling on there. I'm also, where can't you find me on the internet? I kind of try to do everything. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Twitter. Everywhere, really. All my name should be right here, MissGinaDarling. You can find me
Other
right
side.
here. Oh, other side.
Yeah.
Here. But mostly my main thing is I stream on Facebook almost every day. I decided to take streaming as a full-time thing.
That's huge, especially coming from other types of content. I'm sure the commitment to being a daily streamer was a big jump that I want to get into in a little bit. But before we talk about that, I'd love to wind the clock way back.
Sure.
To young Gina.
Oh, so long ago.
So where did you grow up? Were you stateside?
Mm-hmm. I was born and raised in California in the USA, Northern California. And then I moved to Southern California, Los Angeles, when I was about 14 years old. And I've been there ever since. I'm 31 now.
Cool. Were your parents into content creation? Did they push you a certain way into like acting, or like how did you get into being, I don't want to say you're extroverted because you might not be, but how did you become a personality?
Right. I did not grow up in a traditional family. My mother I was basically left to be raised by my grandparents. My mother was doing her own thing. My father was incarcerated, but he is out and he's amazing and I love him. Our relationship's incredible. But so I had a really different upbringing. I was raised in a very strict Asian household, very traditional. But I broke free from that when I was about 14. I moved to Los Angeles to move in with my mother's side of the family, who are a lot more chill. And I knew that I wanted to be an entertainer since I was 4. Straight out of high school, I realized that I did not want to go to college and do the whole traditional life thing. And I also had a rule for myself a goal for myself that I set, which was I don't ever want to have to wake up early to work for anyone else.
I want to put a pause on that.
Sure.
You were 4 and you knew you wanted to be in entertainment. How? Why?
I remember I saw a billboard of a model. Her name is Cindy Crawford. Everyone knows Cindy Crawford. And we were driving a car and I saw a billboard and I asked, who is that? Why is her picture so big on the freeway? And my aunt said, that's a model. Her name's Cindy Crawford. I'm like, what's a model? She told me people who basically just get paid to look pretty and they take photos and wear pretty clothes. And have fun taking pictures. And I was like, that's what I'm going to be. So ever since then, I wanted to be a model. I started modeling when I was 16. Did that for a long time, and then I touched into every other sort of entertainment since then.
So you moved to LA when you're 14, and that, I mean, obviously LA has a large modeling scene.
Right.
Did you have to navigate that yourself, or did you have support in navigating the industry?
I basically did it myself. I'm the first and only entertainer in the family. So it was a lot of, it was scary. You know, I was young, I was in a new city, and oh my God, I actually have no idea how I did it. I have no idea how I made it without dying. How did I survive this long? Yeah, I did basically have to navigate it myself, but luckily I made good friends along the way who, like photographers who wanted to shoot me because I was a fresh face, and they basically helped and guided me throughout the whole entire process and everything. And I honestly would not have been able to make it without the good friends that I've made throughout the years.
That is one shout out to those friends. That's awesome.
I
And
love
then
them.
two to you for the bravery of just, I mean, LA is no joke as a city. It's a big place.
Right.
To be 14 and moving here and not having the support of your parents at the time, that must have been a lot of pressure. Was there a responsibility to like have life figured out so young?
I Yes, I believe so. Like I said, I didn't grow up in the greatest situation, so I was forced to grow up very, very quickly and kind of fend for myself very quickly. And going into a whole new industry on your own, I almost had to have a facade of, knowing what I was doing, having the confidence, and carrying myself a certain way so that people would not take advantage of me and see that I, beneath it all, I am new, I am naive, and I'm still learning. So I really had to project that and hope that people believed it, just in a way to like protect myself. It was very difficult. Um, but I mean, I figured with everything that I've been through in life already, this was a piece of cake.
That's that's impressive. Like truly, really impressive. So you're there. You're in LA. You're meeting friends. You're starting to navigate the industry. Were you in school in LA, or did you say you decided not to go to school?
I decided not to go to school. I graduated high school, and from that point on, decided to just go straight into the workforce.
So you're working. Were you doing was modeling something you were still passionate? I know you said you wanted to be when you were 4. When you actually got into the industry and started to see how it worked, was it something you were still really excited about? How was those first few years into modeling?
Yes, I was in love with it. I shot almost every week. I was finally doing what I always wanted to do. However, as a fresh model, you're not making that much money. So in between that, I also worked 3 jobs. I was hotel front desk in the morning. I was a hostess at a restaurant. I was also a cocktail waitress at night. And then I picked up go-go dancing and fire dancing and fire performing and everything. So during the week, I'm doing my day jobs, and during the weekends, I'm go-go dancing and breathing fire somewhere at a nightclub or a rave.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Was this
And then I
all?
picked up snake dancing from that. Like it was just a lot of like some circus stuff, like stilt walking, and like it was like character performing and stuff like that. I've been a clown. I've been a giant daisy. I've been
Was this
everything.
intentional, or was this just like the journey kind of came out and like you were just following the like you were on the right?
So modeling happened, and then I met a girl who was a go-go dancer. And basically what go-go dancing is, it's the girls that you see at nightclubs dancing in the cages or on stage. No one talks to us, no one touches us or anything. And we just dance at nightclubs. And I was like, wow, that's really cute. Like that's a really cool job. I want to do that. And then so one night my girlfriend was dancing, and she's like, do you want to try? And I'm like, yeah, sure. She's like, I have an extra outfit, like just hop on stage and see how it goes. And I fell in love with it. Usually they dance for 15 minutes. I went for like hour and a half, 2 hours, because I was having so much fun. And then I got scouted by a company, and that company dances, or they provide performers for Insomniac events, which is the people who at the time, and still do actually, throw the biggest EDM festivals, raves, back then they were called massives, in North America. So she scouted me, and I danced for like 6 or 7 EDCs. I did all the big festivals. And then she also taught me how to breathe fire, eat fire, stilt walk. And then from there, I met a girl with a snake that was snake dancing. I was like, I want to do that too. And I started snake dancing. And my whole thing in life is I've always wanted to do things that made sure that I had an interesting life story to tell my grandkids. And so a lot of times when opportunities are brought to me, I ask myself, would this be a cool story to tell my grandkids? If it's a yes, then I'm in. So I got deep into that world. It was modeling, go-go dancing, cirque performances. And then from modeling, I opened up a talent agency so that I can represent other models and book them out too.
Wow, so you started your own talent agency.
Right. I started out around 24.
So this was about 7 years ago.
Right.
Did you have any representation before, or were you doing all your own stuff and you're like, I can help other people do this?
I had representation before, but then I kind of wanted to, at around like 24, 25, I've always been very aware of how much time I have left and what the expiration date's going to be. And I knew I couldn't model forever. I couldn't do this forever. So I wanted to take a step behind the scenes and help out other people, start managing, and just having a bigger, I guess, role in all this, not just the face.
Yeah. How was that? Was there a tension between wanting to be behind the scenes and help shape the industry and help other people versus still wanting to be the performer, the entertainer, the model that you had for, by that point, almost 10 years?
To be honest, it was very interesting. I was able to do both, so there was no internal battle between being behind the scenes or being in front of the camera, on stage or anything. The most difficult thing is, to be honest, dealing with models is a pain. It's a pain. You're in a room full of very big egos, beautiful, beautiful women who have always been told that they're beautiful. And on top of that, the sprinkle on top is I'm younger than all of them and I'm managing them. So it was very, I've had a couple instances where it was hard for them to understand, like, hey, look, I'm younger than you, but I own this company and I can fire you if I need to. And also, a lot of these girls that I represented were friends of mine before I started the company. So it was, we had to have the discussion of, hey, listen, like, I am your friend, but when it comes to this is business. Today I am your boss, your manager, basically. So that was the most difficult thing about the whole thing. And everyone always says, oh, wow, you work with models all day. That's fantastic. Like, no, it's not. Especially when you're traveling and you're touring, it's a pain.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, like, you're 24, you're starting this agency. You'd already obviously networked quite well from your own modeling career, and you're starting to sign people. Like, what gave you the credibility to have them join your roster and you to rep them? Like, why did they say Gina's our girl? Like, she's gonna rep us, and we're gonna put our trust in her. And because
right.
I'm sure they had different options. There was different talent agencies in LA.
Right. So it just so happens to be like the first contract that I ever booked was from a multi-million-dollar, very well-known company that was looking for talent. And the fact that I landed this contract as someone who is fresh and very green to this gave me a lot of credibility. But also at the same time, I already had my name out there because during these years, I was also part of a reality show. Should mention that earlier. I was part of a reality show that was produced by Tyrese, wonderful singer, love him, sweet guy. And that show, I was very apprehensive of being on it at first because I was just not about the whole reality show life, and editing would have made me like, I don't know what you guys are gonna do. But it actually turned out to be amazing, and it went international. People loved it. I went on tour, did meet and greets and stuff like that, and it gave me the name. In fact, that's how that was like the second wind in my career. Before it was, go dancer, model, sure, built my, and YouTuber at that point. I had already started YouTubing also. And that helped, but then the show itself really catapulted it to another level. And I think that was like a huge turning point in my career, which gave me the credit, the notoriety, the name that people were able to trust.
I want to take a little bit back because you said you started a YouTube channel, which
Right.
I think is relevant, especially the content side and what you're doing today. Why did you set up a YouTube channel for modeling?
It's really funny. I started YouTube as a gamer. All this on it was as a gamer. I a while ago, a long time ago, over 10 years ago, I started playing with a team called Hidden Masters, of which another creator was in Louis Caliber, and he's still a huge creator. I started playing with the Hidden Masters, and Louis was in town. He's like, and this is when this is when they were with Machinima, when Machinima was still there, and Louis was like, "Hey, you want to go to the Machinima office?" I'm like, "Yeah, I would love to." And so I met everyone at Machinima, and I caught wind of they wanted someone who loved Borderlands because Borderlands 2 was coming out, and they wanted a content creator to make Borderlands content. And I basically said, "Hey, listen, I don't have a channel, but I'm willing to start one if you
That
give me a
is
chance."
wild. You
Yeah,
just happened at the
I
Machine
just
office, you heard this question come up, and you were like, I'm in.
right, because I loved Borderlands. I loved it so much. The first one I played till my fingers fell off, and so I told him, I was like, "Hey, I don't, all I have is my Instagram here. I model. I'm somewhat kind of known, but not in this industry. But I have been playing games my whole life. If you give me a chance, I would love to make some content for you because I am a huge Borderlands fan." And this guy, his name is Rishi. He now works for Twitter. Shout out to Rishi.
Oh, I know Rishi.
He,
Yeah.
yeah, Rishi, I love him. They were like, "Do we give her a partner channel? Like, she doesn't even have a." She's like, "Yeah, let's take her chance. Let's take a chance with her, and let's see what happens." So he partnered my channel. I had like a channel with like 2 videos because I had other YouTube buddies that blew up at the time, and I was just making fun little videos. I did like a cameo or whatever in their music videos or their comedy videos. So I started my own little channel just for fun. I had my gamertag URL and everything, and Rishi just took a chance on me, and I started making Borderlands content for them. And that was basically the first step into gaming as a career. And then I kind of stepped away from that, from the gaming content for a while because I joined another YouTube troupe that was over like 1 million something. We made comedy videos, we made skits, we made like news discussion videos. So I took a step away from the gaming for a little bit.
I just have to take my hat off to you because it's not you've tried, it's like you've succeeded in a lot of different things, and it's just the hustle, like the work ethic. Like, we're talking about it now pretty lightly, but it's like the amount of stuff that went in behind making all of that happen. It's just really impressive, the hustle that you've had. Is Why did you work so hard?
Why did I work so hard? Can I pause for a second?
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
I'll answer. I just got my lips are so dry. And it makes me bite my lips, and it's a bad habit. Okay. Okay. I'll reiterate your question. Okay. What made me work so hard? I believe my motivation came from a bad upbringing. I was fueled a lot by, to be honest with you, I was fueled a lot by spite and anger also because of how I was raised and how I grew up. So I wanted to be able to make it on my own. It was also, part of it was because of how I grew up, I was always afraid to ask for help. So I decided that I wanted to make things happen for myself so that I never really had to ask people for help. I wanted to be able to take care of myself and not ask anyone to help me. And I think that was my number one motivating factor, was the fact that I just wanted to be able to do it on my own. I was an only child. I'm a female in the family, and I was raised to basically be a wife. Just know how to cook and clean, stand behind your husband. Very, very Asian traditional. And I didn't like that. So when I finally broke free of that, I decided I'm gonna do this myself, and I don't want to marry a rich man that will take care of me. I am going to be the rich man that takes care of myself, you know? So I think that was my
Oh,
main.
you and my wife would get along so well. I bet. I'm not even kidding. It's the exact same. That's. I mean, it's a testament to what you've turned you could perceive as a negative into a
Right.
positive, and it's really
Right.
been a catalyst for all of what you've accomplished over the last decade now. It's super
Right.
impressive.
I thank you. I could have become worse, like something terrible, like something worse. A lot of people who've been through the similar things that I've been through, a lot of them don't make it through to the other side, or they go down the wrong path. And I didn't want to do that. I had a lot of pride um, carrying my dad's name. Basically, he was like, he's been through a lot of stuff. He's done wrongs. He's done goods, but he always taught me to have pride and carry his name well, and that's what I wanted to do. So I also told myself, like, I'm Alan's daughter, and I'm not going to let myself go down this wrong path. And I just picked myself up whenever I fell and kept going.
That is badass.
Thank you.
Really. So fast. You're making content on YouTube. You switched over. How did you get into this other channel? It seems like you put yourself. Some would say it was like fortunate circumstances, but you put yourself in situations where it's led to something else.
Right. So most of the time I really do like to just kind of stay at home and be by myself. I'm more of an introvert, but I can turn it on when I need to. But I've always had to force myself to, no, you got to get out of the house. You got to meet these people because you never know what's going to happen. So I became friends. Oh God, this is crazy. So one of the events I was go dancing at, Electric Daisy Carnival, EDC in Vegas, I met these stunt performers, and these stunt performers we connected because I was like, oh my God, you're Asian. I was the only Asian in this whole entire thing for like 4 or 5 years. You guys are Asian. So we bonded over that. And we became friends. His name is Yoshi, who later on went on to be the official Blue Power Ranger. So after yeah, he became a Blue Power Ranger. And so after the event, he hit me up and said, hey, I know we only met once, but we're filming this thing for YouTube. Do you want to join us? Our main actress dropped out. And at that time I was like, it's not paid. I don't have time for this, but I need to force myself to get out there and meet people. So I did. And that's when they had these guest stars from a company called Just Kidding Films. And they were already very well established on YouTube. They did comedy skits and they were incredible. So I met them briefly. And then a couple weeks later, Just Kidding Films hits me up and says, hey, like, we need like a pretty Asian girl, blonde or whatever. Are you free? And shot with them. We clicked immediately. And then I joined their crew, and I've been with them for nearly 10 years now. And from then, that really helped my career a lot too. And I always tell them, like, I would be nowhere near where I am right now without you guys, because they were huge already, and when they became my family. And I feel like with my life, it's just a lot of right place at the right time, and forcing myself to be out there, to be at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I think not understating that latter part is you putting yourself in that situation, because it's so easy to just hunker inside and do your own thing. So moving on a little bit to, so when were you part of the network? What year is this?
Facebook network.
No, sorry, when you were with on the YouTube side.
YouTube. I joined JK 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, 2010, 2011. Mm-hmm.
Fast forward a little bit, you're making content. It seems like you're growing. It's almost like you're growing in different areas,
right?
Like constantly over the last decade in different areas. When did streaming become something that you were interested in trying out? Had you watched streams?
Never. Literally never. I knew they were there. I played games for fun my whole entire life. Like, I was always a gamer. If I wasn't filming or anything, I was always playing games. And so around 2017, I was contacted by this guy. I don't remember. I was contacted. No. So this was before Facebook. I was contacted by this guy who said he wanted to manage me, and I said, sure, let's try it and see what happens. He's like, I want to get you into gaming. I'm like, all right, whatever. The one thing that held me back from gaming was I don't like anything on the technological side. Like like building a computer, setting it up and all that. And it seemed very daunting. For me, I was always in front of camera. I was never the one who was hands on all the machinery, all the logistics of it all. It was not my thing. So that's what held me back from streaming for the longest time, because a lot of people told me like, hey man, you play games every night, why don't you just start streaming? And I said, it's too much of a hassle. This is when I was on console. You just turn it on and you play. And so this guy hit me up and he said, I might be able to get some sponsored parts for you. If we do that and build a PC, would you be willing to maybe try streaming? And I said, sure. So got some sponsored parts and decided to stream. I had no idea what to expect. I never did live content. It was always, everything had post-production, everything. We were filmed first, everything was recorded first. So I've never done live content before, and it was very scary. Especially because I come from like old YouTube entertainment where we got away with a lot more than we could now, And so the PC was built and it was like a Frankenstein computer. It wasn't that great. And I remember the first day, this is when I was on Twitch. I hopped on to Twitch. And I remember the night before, even like 5 minutes before I turned on my stream, I was nervous and I was just like, what if I say something stupid? What if I embarrass myself? What if I'm not great at games? What if people don't show up? What if people don't find me entertaining? What if nobody talks to me?
That's so interesting, given all your background. You've done so much, whether it's dancing in front of, hundreds or thousands of people. You've been on famous series on YouTube. You've had a modeling career, but this idea of going live was really intimidating.
It was. I don't know. I need a lot of reminders or things that remind me of my support system and my supporters and my followers and stuff. I always forget. And every once in a while it slaps me in the face like, hey, listen, like you did good. Like people are here for you. But I don't know. It's because if you asked me, like a lot of people ask me, like my friends who know how much of an idiot I am, they're like, what? It's crazy that people follow you. And I'm like, yeah, I have no idea why. I'm an idiot. Like, why? Like, why are you people here? There's a lot of confused people out here. And I forget a lot. But then, things happen and things blow up and I'm like, oh my God, like these people are really here to support me. So I turned on my stream and it was like, I think I had like 1,000 something viewers. And I sat there and I just stared at my screen and it was just like the most low budget webcam Frankenstein computer. I think it was like a 2070 Ti, which wasn't that bad at the time. And just like a white wall behind me. No lighting, no nothing. Everything was orange. And I was like, holy crap, you guys are here. And then $100 donation dropped. And I just stared at my team that was there. I like just by my team, I like 2 people. And I just stared at my team. I was like, is that real? And they're like, yeah, that's real. And I just sat there and I just cried. I like sobbed on stream on my very first day. And I just all this nervousness and being scared finally kind of just released. And I was reminded like, hey, we love you. We're here to support you. And the donations came in and I just started crying. And I was like, I can't believe you people are here right now. And that's basically how my stream career started. And it's been so fun. It's been so fun. And I wish I started this sooner.
That's really interesting. Did you got those viewers in the first time? Was every subsequent one high, or was it like you had this spike of interest, like what is this, and then it kind of waned?
With everything in entertainment, there's always a huge spike of interest in the beginning and then it wanes. But luckily I've been in it for so long that I'm used to that. So it didn't really affect me. I already expected it to happen. So it dropped down to around like half, maybe like 500 viewers or so. And I was okay with that still. Like, this is great. This is more than I can ever ask for. But also because I was prepared for this. Like it happens. That's just the life course of anything in entertainment.
And how did your priorities switch? Did you become more consistently streaming? Did when you went into that first stream, where you're like, okay, I'm going to be consistent with this X, or are you going to try it out and then see? Like, how did your approach to streaming change?
I went into it with a game plan. I went into it knowing that I want to put my 100% into this for as long as I can to see what happens. Like I owe it a fair chance. So I figured for the next couple months or so, I'm going to give it my all. I had a stream schedule every day at 5 p.m. or 5 days a week at 5 p.m. just to see where it went. And it went well. And I finally saw things happening. Sponsorships were coming in, people were watching. And the most important thing was I was having so much fun because, to be honest with you, when I started with Machinima doing YouTube videos back then, Borderlands kind of became a chore because it became a job. I had to turn on my Xbox and I had to record and I had to speak. And it got to the point where I didn't even want to look at my Xbox. And so that was my main concerns when I first started streaming. I was like, is this going to happen with gaming for me? Because I love gaming so much. This is one of two things that I've known my whole entire life. And if it ever gets to the point where it feels like a chore, I don't think I'm going to stick to it. So I always kept that in mind. And a month or two later, I realized I was still having so much fun and it didn't feel like a chore. I look forward to turning on my stream every day and hanging out with people. So from that point on, I'm like, all right, you know what? I think we're gonna keep going.
Did that become your, when you felt that kind of consistent traction, you were enjoying it, did this become your full-time gig, or did you still have some other stuff going on the side?
I always have other things going on the side. Like if because I'm an evening streamer, so during the day I'm doing other things, or on my days off of stream I'm filming with other YouTube people, or I'm doing photo shoots and stuff like that. As of recently, I've been very heavy on TikTok and working on that. So I'm always doing something. I'm always trying to insert myself into different projects and stuff, because I know that if I only stick to one thing, I'm going to get bored. I need to be working on something different and fresh at all times.
For a stream perspective, what's evolved over time? You've been now doing it for just over 3 years. What's evolved over time in your relationship with streaming?
I think my favorite part is my community. They have definitely grown so much, and they've become kind of like their own little ecosystem, and it's really sweet. And I feel like I'm watching this little world grow. I've seen people meet each other and start dating, break up. Some people have babies. They're getting married, and some of them become best friends, or some of them are moving in with each other. I think one of them said that she might be going to UK to live with another one. Like they became friends. That's evolved into something that I'm like, I have a general voice chat in my Discord, and almost every night I go in there, there's like 10 of them in there just hanging out. And it's almost like a mama bear and all her kids are home for Christmas, and you just see a full house and you just get so happy. So I think that's one of my most favorite things that has kind of grown and evolved from this. Also, I made it a point this year to try to reach out to other streamers and hang out and play with them, because even with YouTube, I've always tended to kind of keep to myself, because like I said, the way I was raised, I didn't like bothering people. I didn't like asking people for help or anything, because one, I didn't want to feel like a leech, which is, even if it's someone that's a smaller creator than me, I'm just like, I don't want to feel like I'm a leech, which doesn't make sense.
You're not alone in that regard. Is
it weird?
Yeah, no, you're not alone. People feel that way, regardless if you've got millions of followers or 1,000 followers. It's a feeling that seems to consistently go on as you grow.
Right. It's very strange. And so for the longest time, I never bothered anyone. I didn't ask anyone to play with me, because I didn't want anyone to feel like I was using them. But I really had to kind of step out of my comfort zone and actually try. So from Twitch, I was picked up by Facebook, and I've been on Facebook for 3 years, and we're all in like a Facebook group with all the developers and everything. And I saw a bunch of people who were cool in there, and I noticed that a bunch of them started following me on Twitter. And I'm really shy when it comes to meeting new people, but I kind of forced myself to, or no, what happened was one of them came into my stream, Audio Freak, sweetest thing in the whole entire world. Audio just came into my stream one day and jokingly said, Gina, I'm out of beer money and I need beer. And I was like, yeah, dude, give me your Venmo right now. I'll send you some beer money. Have never really spoken to this guy before in my life, but I saw that he was another streamer, and I like supporting other creatives, especially in this new platform that I'm on.
How was that
And
transition for you? I'm getting you've been on a lot of platforms, you've got that cross-platform experience, but going from Twitch, which is like hardcore gaming,
right,
over to Facebook, was that a very heavy, weighty decision, or were you excited about the opportunity? How was that for you?
it was scary. I remember sitting down with my Twitch community on our very last Twitch stream before my Facebook contract started the next day, and I mean, Twitch was one thing with gaming, but Facebook has been around for God knows how long. And so I remember telling them specifically, like, hey guys, like, I know our little town here, we've been together for quite some time now, and it's going to be a scary change, but we're moving to the big city, and there's going to be a lot of new people, and it's going to be a lot of different changes. We're moving to a whole new house. Um, and I'd like you to come with me. If you don't, I completely understand, because this is really scary. And it's, I thought I heard a lawnmower. So I said, I know it's really scary. I understand if all of you guys don't follow me, but I would really be happy if you did, because I'm scared too. I was really scared because this is a whole new platform, and it's just like Twitch was known for gaming. Like they were well established, like heavy into the game, and I'm going into a brand new city, a brand new house with no promises of if this is going to work out or not. But I took the leap of faith, and a bunch of my viewers came with me, which I'm so thankful for. And it was difficult in the beginning. It was very difficult because the numbers didn't translate properly. The platform was something I had to learn, and it wasn't fully developed yet. So there were still a lot of things that, like, we came in as basically beta testers, and it was scary. Like, there were things that I needed that I didn't have, but I figured I had to have faith in it, and I stayed. But I'm glad I did. And my viewers are here. They're all hanging out with me. There's still one big family. I found new people to watch, and it's been good.
That's awesome. What I'd love to dig into is just like your systems over time and how they've evolved, because you were an agent before. You've now got your, hands in different things. Like, you're still doing the YouTube collab side. You're doing some photos throughout the day. You've got your stream going on every night. What kind of systems have you built around yourself to make sure that you can stay on top of all of this? Do you have a team of people that help now?
Right. I luckily have always had this team that I've played games with since 2014. We met on League, which I don't know why. I don't even play League, but I met them through League, and we became such close friends. And luckily they live near me, so we all became like best friends. And I didn't even need to ask them to moderate for me. Once I said that I was going to join Twitch, like, all right, cool, we'll be your moderators. And I was like, I don't know if I can pay you guys. They're like, no, stupid. Like, we're going to be your moderators. Like, we're your friends. We're going to hang out. We're going to teach you things. And we're going to, because they were heavy into watching streamers. A couple of them dabbled into streaming. So they knew the community. They knew the world way better than I did, way more than I did. I was going into this green. And so I was lucky that I had them, and I still have them till this day. Like, I still game with them almost every day. And that is my system. I would be nowhere without these guys. They teach me everything. Like, guys, what are VODs? What are this and that and whatever? And they're the ones who decorated my Discord. They're the ones who, they set up my sub games and stuff like that. And in return, it's like, I can't pay you guys, but, and I never asked for anything. They never asked. In fact, whatever money that I do get from sponsorships or whatever, I try to kick back a few, to them, but they refuse to give me their PayPals or anything. Like, they just refuse. So I drown them in hardware that I get instead. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's my system. That's my support system. Anything that has to do with anything with stream, like building my computer or anything, that's all them.
Have you ever thought about, this is too much? This life in the limelight is just exhausting. Have you ever thought, no, I need a break?
Never.
It's impressive.
Never. I'm I'm so damn happy with what I do. And there are days when I'm exhausted and I'm tired, but I go to sleep every night just like, and the last thing in my mind is I can't complain. Like, I cannot complain about what I do. I love this so much. Yeah, I got lucky. I got really lucky.
Lucky, and then also a lot of hard work at the same time. It doesn't just happen overnight. I think we've got all the listeners that would love just to learn from, you've got such a diverse experience across different aspects of the industry. What's something that you wish you learned and you could have went back and told yourself, young Gina, at 16 or 14 even, when you were first coming to LA and going in that world of modeling and thinking about content creation when you went to YouTube? What's one thing you could have told yourself back then that you know now?
Consistency. Be consistent. Be absolutely consistent. Don't be such a perfectionist about your content, because what I learned over the years was I spent so much time trying to make everything perfect that it stopped me from just pumping out content. And when it comes to content, consistency really is key. You can put out one incredibly produced video on YouTube a month, but it won't do much for you. Like, yeah, you'll get the views, sure, maybe because it's so amazing, but if you just consistently upload at a schedule, that will build your numbers, your career a lot better. And that's the one thing that I struggled with, and I still struggle with, is consistency, because it's a blessing and it's kind of a curse at the same time, because I am not consistent in a way where, like, if I get bored of something, I'm gonna have to start touching base on other things so I don't get bored, which helped me, in my career. I expanded a bunch, but also I'm good at a whole ton of things, but I'm not perfect and great at one single thing. And sometimes I kind of hate myself for that, but I'm kind of thankful for it too. But I would go back and tell myself to be more consistent, and also stop being so shy. Reach out and, ask for help, and people are more than willing to help, and they're more willing to help than you know. They're a lot friendlier than you think, and it's okay to lean on someone sometimes and ask them for some help. Yeah, I think that would have helped me a lot when I was younger.
I dig that. Well, Gina, I really appreciate you taking the time to share more about your story. It's incredible, honestly, and I'm so impressed by your hard work, your resilience, especially with the upbringing you had. I mean, to your point that you made earlier, it easily could have went the other way, and it's a testament to who you are that it didn't, and what your future holds in front of you. And I think when you mentioned your point about your grandkids and what you're going to tell them, I think they are absolutely going to love Grandma Gina. It's a wild story and a lot of exciting things, and I'm going to be so proud of you.
Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. I'm so, I mean, I was very, very happy when you reached out to be on your podcast. I was like, oh my God, hey, look, they're noticing me. Yay. So thank you. I'm honored to be here, and I'm very happy that we could do this.
Awesome.
And it was
Thanks, Gina.
lovely meeting you. Mm-hmm.